Welcome to the Lechtich Parsha podcast, where we delve into the Torah's timeless wisdom and uncover uplifting and empowering lessons tailored to the challenges of our generation. Akuduna Shabbos Parshas Ki Savo Tavshin Pei Hey. I hope you're doing well. I hope you had a wonderful week. This week's shiur is graciously sponsored by Reb Dovi Stroh and family. The Elul Nishmas of Gavril ben Rav Shimon Yehuda Mez Shalom have an Aliyah. May he be a meditation for the entire Mishpacha. Thank you to our corporate sponsors, Haas and Zalt's Law Firm, T7 Capital, Bluestone Brokerage, and Wolgemuth and Associates. For future dedications to sponsor the Lechtich Weekly Parsha Publication Podcast, the Daily Mussar Shiur, please reach out to 845-367-2959. You may have seen we have an ongoing $1 a week campaign. Now is your time to join, to participate. You can grab the schos of sponsoring the Mussar Shiur, spread Baruch Hashem to thousands worldwide, inspiring, uplifting, and elevating Yidden worldwide. Grab the schos now, $1 a week. Link attached below in the show notes. We continue in our Elul series, trying to make the time more meaningful, more real. And as we get closer, we think about Malchus, we think about our role as being Mamlechas, Kainim, and Gagadosh, and also as individuals, being in the army of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and Hashem is reconsidering and rethinking who he needs for his army, who are his main guys, who are the generals, who are the sergeants, who are his soldiers, who we can count on. That's what Rosh Hashanah is really all about. So it says, Nesik Sedra, you have the Klaus of the Brachas, and the Pasuk Chavav, Parak Chav Zayin, Pasuk Chavav. Or Asher Lo Yokim, as Divrei HaTorah Hazois, Lasais Oisam, Lomar Kol Ha'am Amen. Cursed is the one, Asher Lo Yokim, as Divrei HaTorah Hazois, who is not Yokim, who is not Mekayim, doesn't adhere, who doesn't fulfill the Divrei HaTorah Hazois, Lomar Kol Ha'am Amen. And the entire assembly answered, Amen. So the Pasuk Shad is, it's going on everything in the entire Torah. It's going on all the Torah, all the mitzvahs of the ganze Taryag and all the Klaudas and the Brachas. But there's a deeper message. It says the Heilige Reb Yankel Galinsky. Reb Yankel recounts one time when he was a young boy, he remembers when the Chafetz Chaim came to visit the city of his childhood, Krenik. And the Chafetz Chaim came to collect funds for Vada Yeshivas, which he founded along with Reb Chaim Ozer Gedensky. And all the yeshivas of Europe, they were in dire needs of funds, of tzedakah, and the Chafetz Chaim took upon himself, along with Reb Chaim Ozer, to raise funds for the yeshivas. And the Chafetz Chaim was already a very frail, sickly man, but he made every effort because the need was so great. Torah is what sustains. And despite the fact that he was so sick and schwach, but the city, they rented this huge hall to accommodate the Chafetz Chaim and to give him the space and to have literally the whole city came in throngs. People came piling in. When the Chafetz Chaim came, he was this old, sick, small little man. There wasn't even room for him to come in, and they had to, kind of like the Divrei Torah event when the Roshivas come, they can't even get into their own event, their own venue. And the Chafetz Chaim, finally, he got to the podium, he got to the stand in the front, and he was sick and he was frail. And Reb Yankel Galinsky recounts vividly. He says, I remember the Chafetz Chaim, exactly what he said. He said he barely can get a few words out, but what he did say is as follows. He says, based on the Gemara in Kedushin Daf Mem, the Gemara says, Ein tchilas dinai shel adam, ela al divrei Torah. The din, the ikar din of man, tchilas dinai, the beginning of his din, the accounting that one has to make is al divrei Torah. How much he learned, how much he supported Torah. And the Chafetz Chaim said, this is a very frightening thought. The first question that we're going to encounter before we come to Bezdin Shel Maila is going to be, how much did you learn? How much Torah did you support? How much was Torah the cornerstone, fundamental in your life? And said the Chafetz Chaim at this Asifah to inspire the Olam, he said, what are we going to answer on the Day of Judgment? What are we going to tell HaKadosh Baruch Hu? With what will we ascend to Shemayim? Said the Chafetz Chaim. With a pinch of snuff? What hope do we have if we stand dumbfounded at the very question that is asked first? Ad kan divrei Chafetz Chaim. So Bianca Galinsky writes, he says, I understand the message Chafetz Chaim is trying to bring out based on the Gemara. Din sha'adam el divrei Torah. But what was this nekuda? What were we saying about the snuff? There's something trivial, something small, but it seemed like it was significant. Why was the Chafetz Chaim? What was he alluding to when he said that? And years passed, and Rabbi Yankel understood. He put everything into context when he heard another Maisa about the Chafetz Chaim. One time the Chafetz Chaim walked into a shul, and he saw there was an Olam huddled around laughing. And the Chafetz Chaim piqued his interest, and he said, "No, what's the chevra? What's funny? What are you laughing about?" And they said, "Well, there's this crazy guy that just walked in," and he said he walked in from a fair 12 miles away. They were in Radin, and they walked to this. He walked back from this town called Ishyashak, 12 miles away from Radin. So he walked there, and he came back. He's the Meshuggah of Radin, and so excited he came back. And what did he get? So this Meshuggah told the Olam, said, "I got a pinch of snuff," and he said, "Everyone else is such tipshim. They went to this fair and they paid money for this snuff. But me, I got the best deal. I got a bargain. I got a pinch of snuff for free. And I walked. All this time, seems like I'm crazy, but I'm a genius. I got this pinch of snuff for free." And they're all laughing. This guy's mamishesh l'mazel. This guy's a litzlach. This guy's so sad. He's missing screws. He walked 24 miles for a pinch of snuff. And that's the gelachta. That's what we're laughing about. And said the Chafetz Chaim, don't laugh so hard. Don't think it's so distant from yourselves. Said the Chafetz Chaim, you're mocking him for walking all these miles, for journeying out, for stupidity, for triviality, for mamish, mabikach, for some snuff. He said, before we laugh at him, let us have some compassion and introspection towards ourselves. Our neshamas come down, descend from Shemayim. The loftiest, the lofty, from the Heilige Kisei HaKavod, come down to this world. And what does it come for? It comes for the fear. All the nisoynis, the ups and downs, the trials, the travails, the failures, the successes. And here and only here, says the Chafetz Chaim, we can acquire nitzchias. We can pack away. We can make sure that we put away for our nitzchias, for our leilam vad. When we learn more Torah, when we do mitzvahs, when we overcome and withstand nisoynis, challenges, and purchase the most precious merchandise in this world, that's our tafkid, that's what we're meant to do. But if the neshama comes back to the Kisei HaKavod, and Hashem's going to say, what did he do? How did he spend the time? We're going to come back with a pinch of snuff. We're going to come back with mamish, hebel havalim. We're not going to be laughing so hard. So while you're laughing over here, when he's still Ganyadam, he's still boss of a dumb, and you think it's funny that this guy went and he wasted his time, before you laugh at him, do some introspection and reflection on yourself and make sure that you're not tripping over the same exact thing. Make sure that what you're going to bring to Kisei HaKavod after 120 isn't going to be a pinch of snuff. That's what it means in the pasuk, says Rabbi Yankel, that's the pshat. Or asher lo yokin as divrei Torah zois. People can get very carried away with the allure, with the dazzle, with the buzz of this world of Olam Hazeh, the Gashmius and all the fun things. But now is a time of reflection, of introspection, and really recalibrating our inner compass, our matzpon, as the Sfarm call it, the inner compass. What does Hashem want? What's really important? What are we doing in this world? Are we working to acquire snuff? Yeah, money, we need it to sustain, to support our families. But what's the ikar? What are we really after? What are our values? And if it's not Torah, then Rachmana litzlan, Aura shaloyakim is divrei Torah zois, las zoisam. It's not just enough to know it be a dia, to know it in concept. It has to be in action. Lekayim is divrei Torah zois. And that's what the Gemara reminds us in Kedushin, that Tchilas Davar is going to be on the Din Torah, on what we're busy with in this world, how we learn Torah, how we supported Torah. That's Tchilas Din. Especially as we go into Rosh Hashanah, remind ourselves for the future, but especially for now also, now is the time to worry about that future. What's our affiliation? How strong is our shaykhis, our connection, our kesher with Torah Hazais, the Furais? So it can sound very daunting. It can sound perhaps like a tall order, maybe a little too tall. coming to Rosh Hashanah, I'm not on Koil all day, I'm not learning all day, so what's my shaykhis? How can I do it? A few minutes to Hashem really cares. So you always have to package it into Dvar Chizik and to make it doable. And so Gewaldige Chida brought down in Eitzes HaTorah. The pasuk says, Parachav Ches, pasuk Gimel, when it's on Hashem l'roish v'ledezanav, when it's talking about the brachas, Hashem says, I'm going to give it l'roish v'ledezanav, v'yisa rak l'mala v'leitil l'mata. V'yisa rak l'mala v'leitil l'mata, kisishma es mitzvah Hashem l'kacha. It's going to be rak l'mala v'leitil l'mata. Frak the chida, a diak in the pasuk. When it talks about l'mala, it says rak l'mala, only l'mala. But when it says lamata, when you go down, it says lamata. Does say rak lamata. We need symmetry in the Torah. So if it's just lamata and lamala, keep it. But why is it rak lamala? And when it comes to lamata and going down, it's lamata. So the Chidah brings a beautiful hezber from the Marach, the Sefer Kunas Olam, and he says that when a person wants to have an aliyah, a person gets inspired, a person gets energized, empowered, here's a good var, and he wants to do more, gets excited about Elul. He wants to overcome the world, take down everything. Big sheifas, big goals, new Elul, new year, Tavshin Pei Vav. I'm going to knock this one out. It's going to be crazy, revolutionary, like I've never done before. Says the Marach, says the Chidah, slow down. Rak lemala. Take it easy. Darga, take it step by step. You want to be successful in your ruchnistic endeavors? You want to be matzliach? You want things that are actually going to sustain, going to be a part of you, not just going to be a fad, going to be a temporary chizik, says the Torah. You want to do that? Lemala. Rak lemala. Only lemala. Take rak. There's a cap. There's a gather. Don't go crazy. Take it easy, and that's how you're going to get lemala. When it goes lemata, be very careful. Lemata, there's no cap. Stay away as far as you can from lemata. That's the side of how to do it. And just if you're right, the last ice here, to give another minute, there's a Kabbalah Mashal. Just encapsulate everything that we're saying over here. Olam Haza, Olam Haba, Tchilas Din, Al Divrei Torah, taking it step by step. Famous mashal, but it's always good to say over. There's once a king who dispatched a bunch of his lower levels, Tamidim, to other provinces, and each would be a king in their own right. And he told the kings, I just want to let you know that it's going to be very tricky, it's going to be very challenging, because there's going to be so much opportunity, so much fun, business and entertainment. But at the end of the day, you have endless opportunity. There's gems, there's gold mines, there's treasure chests, and there's boats, and you're coming back here. And you have the opportunity to save away and send everything back here. And you think, oh, it's Pasha, I'm going to go there, I'm going to be Matzliach. But I'm just letting you know, it's a lot of fun, but don't forget, you're coming back here eventually. And the kings went out. Each one, they were sent out on a boat, and they arrived at their respective cities. One king immediately hired workers. He was all excited. He opened the mines and spent every moment collecting the gems, started shipping them home. He didn't waste any time. He lived simply because he knew each passing day was precious. There was another king who said, well, I'm going to enjoy myself now. I'll work later. And he entertained himself with all of the entertainment and the shows and the music, and he wasted tons of time. And he said, later. He didn't learn the Mishnah of in the time past. The third king, he was very excited with all the seashells and the feathers and all the beauty and the forests and the animals and the zoos, and got swept away with that, and he filled crates with all this incredible, these souvenirs and these things to remember and cherish and put together in a scrapbook of his time over here. And then there was a fourth king, the wise king, and he looked around and he said, I wasn't sent here for play, but for purpose. And this is my chance, he realized, for eternity, for my future, for the rest of my life. And with ironclad discipline and resolve, he said, as geschmack and alluring as everything seems, I'm not wasting any time. And he filled ship after ship with treasures, with gems. And of course, when these kings returned, the only one that was truly happy, of course he all enjoyed himself, but it was only the wise king who kapped the Rhine, who sent away the boats filled with treasure chests and gems and true value for the rest of his life. And the Nimshal, as we go through the parsha before we start Shabbos Lichas, really getting into it, getting close and close to Rosh Hashanah. The side is that we're all here, we're all on a journey, we're all here through this temporary world. And we have to think, the end is going to be determined by the beginning, with thought, with forecasting, whatever is going to be. It's with a plan, with a strategy. And we remind ourselves, the first question we're going to be asked is our commitment, our connection to the Torah. The way to do it, the way to get there is darga, step by step. Don't overdo it. Take something small, divide that. The Bible must say, take that and divide it. Take something real, attainable, something that we really can hold to, and that should carry us through. And Be'ez Hashem, we should be akin to the king, not who wasted his time with all the trivialities and all the stupidity and all the shows and the feathers and the news and whatever it is that we're discussing and that's important in this world. But emes de gezachen, varam shal nitzchi, Torah, mitzvahs, meisim tovim, and with that, we should be zeichet to ksivach sima tova.
I thank each and every one of you for listening. I hope you enjoyed, and I wish you a wonderful Shabbos.